Hi, Jason Birchfield here at Birchfield Family Farm. We are out here today making maple syrup. It's early March, the temperatures are just right. We're sitting about mid 40s today, but we're freezing at night, so that makes the sap run during the day. And we've been making syrup pretty steadily this week. So I've been wanting to do a video for quite some time on small scale maple syrup production, just as it relates to the homestead or small farm. So finally getting a chance to do that. So also wanted to mention Mrs. Ruther's botany class, I believe it is, at Talawanda High School. They've been collecting sap this year and getting that to us, and we've been boiling that down as well in our wood-fired evaporator here. So I would love to take you around today and show you what we do and show you the process.
To the woods we go. All right, back here in the woods, the yard birds. What do we got here? What do we got here in that bucket? A couple taps on this tree. Okay, about half maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Is it running?
Yeah, keep looking.
Okay. So we use this bucket system for our taps, and there's not much to it. These are 3/16, I believe. 3/16 hose, 3/16 taps. We started out with 7/16, which was a little bigger, and discovered we were getting more sap with the smaller ones. I think it's something to do with vacuum. Of course, it's less invasive on the tree to drill a smaller hole. You can see one of our holes from last year heal up nicely. So, all right, we got it. All right, let's go to the next one. What do you got? What do you got in there? Oh man, that one's running real well. Look at it. Yeah, we're dripping good today. All right, about a half bucket maybe. All right. On the bucket, we've drilled holes, and these are food grade buckets, Tractor Supply. We've drilled holes that are very tight fitting, so no rain, nothing gets in, and see, we're running pretty good today. Just keeps everything out, works pretty well for us. Full buckets today.
This is our maple syrup evaporator pan. We just acquired this pan 2 seasons ago, and really glad that we did. It's worked out great. We originally started boiling our sap down to syrup in this pot here. It's a 100 quart, 25 gallon. Used to do that over an open fire, and it took forever. So we upgraded to the pan. It's a 2 foot wide by 4 foot long. I believe it's 8 inches deep, and just found a guy online selling those, and it's worked out great. It's stainless steel, and of course we do the wood-fired fire underneath to boil the sap, so it takes quite a bit of wood. But maple syrup is very labor intensive to do, because you're boiling down, it's a 40-to-1 ratio. So for every 40 gallons of sap that you get, you're only going to get 1 gallon of syrup. So very long, labor intensive process. The thing about the evaporator that's really good is it has a lot of surface area. So it's a very big surface area, and that boils a lot at one time. So we estimate we do between 10 to 12 gallons of boil off of the water per hour, which just really helps out. really is able to make sap into syrup in a reasonable amount of time. And so this setup has been good for us. We also did the base out of concrete block, which has been very inexpensive, and that has, for the most part, that's held up pretty well. Back here, we have our pot that we now use as a pre-warmer. So we have a stainless steel pipe coming out of the bottom of the pot, and the sap actually gets dumped into the pot. And then we have a valve on here where we can control the flow of the sap into the pan. And there's kind of an art there to that. You don't want it to flow too fast, or that will kill your boil because this is cooler. But don't want to go too slow, or you'll boil down and potentially scald your syrup. So this pot here does sit above a 6-inch flue that we just kind of plumbed into the back of a concrete block, and so that exhausts the smoke out of the firebox. But we do trap some residual heat from that flue, and that's been great. Get a temperature gauge on here. Yeah, sitting about 60 degrees, which is not very warm compared to the 212 degree sap, but it does provide a little bit of warm up, a little bit of heat transfer. So I think that's all for the evaporator. We will bring you around here and show you how we get the sap out.
Okay, this is our draw-off valve over on the side here when we're ready to empty the sap, almost syrup, into another pot and complete the finish boil. We just come over here and open up this valve, and this will allow the liquid to flow out into the pot. We also have a thermometer over here, and you can see we're just a little bit below boiling right now, so I probably need to actually back this flow off a little bit. We'll shut that down a little and let this temperature come back up. Forgot to mention too, on our concrete block, we did not mortar anything. So we just set the block on top of itself there. And it worked out okay that first season. One thing we did this season was we added wood ash and filled up the insides of the block with wood ash, and that's worked out really well. I can definitely notice a difference in just the way that the firebox holds heat for a longer period of time. Just really does well with better with wood now in terms of efficiency, and just seems to get hotter and stay hotter longer. So I have noticed some cracking on the block though with that increased heat, but that's not a huge deal. Since we didn't mortar it, we can replace those, and not an expensive fix. Okay, so here we are, boiled down about as much as we can get it in the evaporator. Definitely see how dark it is. This is it's probably about 200 gallons here, just under 200 gallons boiled down to. We might have maybe 20 left in there. So this should yield right around 5 gallons of syrup. We'll see what we come out with. But basically from here, we're going to come down and we use this small pot and filter it through here and transfer it to a larger pot over propane to get a more controlled boil. All right, here we are with our propane set up. We got the moved the big pot from the evaporator, cleaned it, moved it over here to the propane burner. See, we're gonna boil this down just a little bit more before we take it inside and finish boil and filter. Okay, we got a propane boil finished up here. We got one more filter on the end of this pipe. We do quite a bit of filtering. But this will go into our finish pot here, which will finish on the electric stove. Okay, we're here at the electric stove now. This is just a pot of straight water, and what I'm doing is just getting a reading on this thermometer. The way that we finish our maple syrup is we go by the thermometer. Maple syrup is technically made when you hit 219 degrees Fahrenheit. So 7 degrees above boiling is technically when you make maple syrup. So anything less than that, you still have too much water in your mix, and it's not technically maple syrup. So what I like to do, because sometimes this thermometer is a degree or two off, I like to put it in a pot of boiling water here, a rolling boil, and get a reading actually on the thermometer, and then we will add 7 degrees to that reading, and that will give us technically maple syrup consistency. 210, we're hanging right around 210. So we know at 217, we will pull our maple syrup off of the heat and filter it and finish bottle it, because it will have turned from sap to syrup at 217 on our thermometer. Now, like I say, regular maple syrup is made at 219. So water boils at 212, so 219 is technically maple syrup consistency. Now I get some questions. Well, what happens if I keep going? If I keep boiling beyond the 219? And the answer is you'll actually end up you'll thicken up your syrup, but you'll end up eventually making maple candy. So that's how maple candy is made, just a thicker substance, and there's a whole art to that, whole other video there. So today we'll pull off at 217 on our thermometer. Okay, for our filtration process, we use a double filter system. This is a disposable liner here that we put inside of this bigger filter here, and these are both designed specifically for maple syrup. So that's the final filtration, and then we will bottle. You can see we have an extremely technical operation here on the filtering. We've got the wood spoon through the filter there around the microwave, duct taped. Very technical, but look at that. Very, very dark this year. It's gonna be delicious. So we went ahead and boiled down that 200 gallons, bottled it, and ended up with just over 6 gallons yield, which is really good. Had a yield for the season of over 10 gallons, which is a new record for us. So awesome syrup season, and thank you for watching.